Welcome to this lesson. I'm going to talk about speed reading in this lesson. I'm going to tell you how exactly you should do it and what are the misconceptions associated with this activity. But before we move on to the lesson, make sure you subscribe to our channel such that you receive updates for any free lesson that we add, right? Also do check out our other lessons on writing and speaking and also our detailed masterclasses on all the sections including vocabulary, right? Let's move on to speed reading now. Let's understand what speed reading exactly means and how it's misunderstood. Speed reading is often misunderstood with the amount of word that one can read. Now remember, there is an ideal word count that you need to have if you are a speed reader. By this I mean 400 to 700 is the ideal word count. Anywhere below that, you are not reading fast. Anywhere above that, you are actually compromising on your reading quality. So remember, it does not really mean that you should read thousands of words per minute if you have to do speed reading. Okay, so that's one ground rule that you need to remember, and you cannot be counting how many words you're reading. Rather, you should actually be counting how much you're able to understand of the text. That's the definition of speed reading. Moving ahead to the importance of speed reading, all of you associate speed reading with the IELTS reading test, but you need to understand that it's also important for the IELTS listening test. For the IELTS listening test, you may have long MCQ questions, and it helps if you do a lot of speed reading there, because then you're able to remember your questions and hence locate answers from the recording. Okay, so let's move ahead and do this with an example. How do you actually do speed reading? Yes, so it does not really help if you read the words aloud or if you do it to yourself with a voice inside your head. Now this affects your reading quality again. So by speed reading, I mean you should be marking words with maybe your finger, your highlighter, or maybe a pen or a pencil. You should be marking these words and you should be able to visualize the meanings of these words, and you should also be able to understand what other words mean similar to the word that you're reading, as in synonyms. Try identifying synonyms, try visualizing and imagining what that word would mean. This will help you understand the text the best. Yes. Now, another ground rule here, apart from the word count that I said, is that your eye movement has to be swift. It cannot be the case that you are doing speed reading by marking one word here and then the next word that you mark is after 30 seconds. That can't happen. Yeah. So your eye has to be very swift in movement, and you should be able to complete about 400 to 700 words per minute. That's equivalent to one long passage. Now let's do this with an example and you will understand what I mean by speed reading. Now this article was taken from Wikipedia. I'm just zooming in a bit so that all of you are able to see this. Now look at this text. I'm using my cursor here to mark the text. Skimming, sentences, clues, main idea, reading an essay, reading the beginning, summary information, optionally, paragraph, determine, detail, determine, questions. This is how I'm quickly highlighting the text that I read. Now while I am doing this, notice that my eye movement is very swift. I am not really bothered about the words that are there in between, but the only thing that I'm bothered about is what words I'm highlighting. Now, for example, if I've highlighted skimming, if I've highlighted speed reading, if I've highlighted visually searching, for example, now this means that I'm trying to connect these words together and try and understand the gist of the entire paragraph. This is exactly what you do. For example, you highlighted page, you highlighted clues, you highlighted reading an essay. Now I'm doing this slowly, it can't be this slow. You have to do it fast. Yeah. So if you highlight these words, try forming a connection between these words very quickly. And remember, no voice inside your head and no reading it out aloud. Okay, so when you do this quickly, you're able to get the gist and then you can quickly move to the questions to start answering them. Yes, this is exactly how you do speed reading, and you keep a count of how much time you're taking to skim an entire passage. But remember, it may not happen on the first day that you're reaching 700 words in 1 minute on the first day, but just try doing this every day with yourself. Where can you find such long articles? You can find them in a newspaper, you can find them on an online article, but start somewhere. Start by copy pasting the content on a Word file like this, and then try to mark your keywords. With this, you will be able to skim better than you can imagine. Yes, so remember what I said, visual reading helps you more than anything else does. Yes. Now, again, another example of another paragraph would be this. Scanning is one word, actively looks is another word, organizing information is another word, hierarchical manner, interrelatedness. I'm quickly able to understand that this particular paragraph is trying to define how you should do scanning as an activity, and then I'm able to relate and find out some keywords from this. Now, when I remember keywords, I'm also able to match that with the relevant questions, and hence I'm able to arrive at my answers. Yes, so this is how you do speed reading. Where does speed reading exactly help? Is there a certain question type where the speed reading is going to help? In your listening test, of course, the MCQs, but in your reading test, everywhere. If you have trouble with TFNG, if you have trouble with matching headings, this is something that you need to master, because half of your troubles get done with speed reading. Remember this. Without this, you're going to struggle in the two questions. And another thing that you need to understand is practice, 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 practice it until you perfect this. It cannot be done overnight. It cannot be mastered over 10 days or 1 week or anything. If your exam is coming up soon, you should probably be doing this more intensively than any other student. But at least if you're good with reading, it should help you master this skill just over a month. Or if you're someone who is a slow learner with respect to the language, you might need more than 2 months. Right? And how do my advanced programs help here? My advanced programs, I give you this such passages that you saw as practice, and I help you understand how skimming should be done and also how answers should be arrived at. Along with that, on our YouTube channel, we do something known as a guided newspaper class. Make sure you check out the recording of this class such that you understand what I mean by speed reading and how it should be done. Okay. Now, if you want to be coached by me, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to be coached by me and want to understand how reading is taught in our advanced programs, simply fill up the admissions form. In the description of this video, you will find a link. Fill up that form and we'll contact you and help you identify the program that's best suited for you. Until then, make sure you keep practicing what I just said, and I will see you guys in another lesson. Bye-bye.